welcome to Carol's Universe, Tarot Readings from the Heart. Thanks ever so much for joining me on your week ahead reading. We're doing the 30th of March through to the 1st of April. This week it's a little bit different. I just wanted to do, amidst everything that's been happening lately, and it is a really scary time, I think, for a lot of us. Well, probably for all of us, to be honest with you. So I really just wanted to do a week ahead, which is just really talking about the message from Spirit this week and the message for each of the signs. We're doing just a simple 10-card layout, as I usually do, using my intuition just to kind of navigate the actual spread and talk about what I see, what I feel Spirit's message is for you this week. Libra, we're also using my favourite oracle deck, the Psychic Tarot of the Heart Tarot Oracle deck by John Holland for the spiritual messaging 2 cards from this deck, and any clarifiers we're using my my trimmed Thelema deck. All right, let's get shuffling. Okay, let's have a look. So, what's the first card looking at? So, the Wheel of Fortune, everything in divine timing, change, fate, destiny with the Wheel of Fortune, unexpected change, wheel. The Six of Cups showing here. The Wheel of Fortune and the Six of Cups is often talking about fated relationships, like karmic relationships. So the Wheel of Fortune is karmic, and this is like a relationship from the past. So this is kind of like a karmic relationship combination from the past. Look at these. The Three of Cups. I mean, some of you guys maybe, it's an interesting thing. I mean, I think amidst everything that's going on this week, Libra, it's not, because this is definitely like a reconciliation combination. Because the Wheel of Fortune talks about things that are karmic, so things that are coming round again. And the Six of Cups is from the past, and this is reunions. All right? So it may be for some of you guys, and I think that if anything, it's going to be probably getting in touch with people, from the past. People, I mean, when we look at the karmic aspect of the Wheel of Fortune, things coming back around again from the past, and reuniting or reconciling with things that are coming back around from the past. That could be anything. It doesn't have to necessarily be love or anything like that. It may be that this karmic kind of past thing, this karmic relationship or karmic thing from the past that you're reconciling with again, it could be anything in your life. But I think this week is a week for kind of reconciling or coming together with things that kind of have been buried in the past. And that for me could be anything. That could be things like picking up the book that you were writing. So say, for example, you were writing a book maybe 2-3 years ago, you've put it down, you've not bothered with it, you've just gotten on with life. I think that these 3 cards are kind of indicating there's a need this week to kind of resume doing things that we put off before. But these are things that that had some form of a destiny or had some form of a purpose. That's the word I'm looking for. So I think that this is a week probably for resuming things, or Spirit is trying to tell you that this week it would be a good time to start resuming things that had a purpose, but it wasn't the right time to do them. Perhaps this week is a good week to start doing things like that again. Yeah, I certainly feel that these are things that have been put on hold. But also, I think with the Seven of Coins, these things could literally probably further down the line bear some fruit. Because the Seven of Coins is all about your work effort, your the things that you put the effort into paying off. 7 of Coins energy showing there. Yeah, 10 of Coins energy. I think that this could pay off in a very, very big way with that 10 of Coins, financially as well. So I think for any of you Librans that perhaps were writing a book or you were doing something and you haven't done it in a while, I feel that it could pay off. I think resuming with things from the past, reconciling with things from the past that you haven't done in quite a while, Libra, this week it's a good week to pick those things up. Because I really feel that these things could pay dividends in a very, very big way. Some of you guys also thinking about it as well. The 7 of Coins is the card where we're reviewing things. Okay, so taking a step back to review. And the 10 of Coins is about the family as well. And this obviously is karmic, karmic relationships from the past reconciling. So some of you guys, it's a good week for thinking about reconciling, talking to people again from the past. Obviously, we can't do it face to face. It would have to be online. So perhaps maybe, picking up the phone, for example, Libra, it's a good idea to get in contact with people that maybe you haven't got in contact with for a while. But these would be people, because of that Wheel of Fortune, the karmic aspect of that, and things coming back around again, it would suggest that these are people that maybe you had a really good relationship with, or a really meaningful relationship with. These are people that served some form of a purpose within your life. And perhaps, you know, if you haven't been in contact with these people in a long time, Libra, perhaps they can serve a purpose going forward. Because I think that one of the things about this thing that's happening in our world today is that it's giving us a chance probably to reconnect with people that we haven't reconnected with, you know, in a long time. I think it's giving us a chance to probably, you know, heal a few wounds maybe with a few people that we might have fallen out with. Because if anything that this situation is teaching us at the moment is that life is very, very short. Well, it's not very, very short, but it can be short, you know, and you can be taken just like that in the blink of an eye. You know, it's a terrible thing to happen, but we have to look at, well, what is the lightness that we can get from this? What is the, you know, what is the, you know, what is the meaning that we can get from this? What is the, you know, what is the lesson that we can learn? Because there is a lesson in everything. You know, no matter how bad something is, there's always a lesson in there. So it's a week for lessons, I think. If I look between the lines of this top line of cards, it's a week for learning a lesson. It's a week for taking heed of that, because for some of you guys it'll be kind of taking up a hobby, something that was purposeful, though, something that you were doing in the past that was it had a great deal of purpose for you, but you've put it down, you've not looked at it. It's a good week for putting it up, because in the long run it could really pay dividends in a very, very big way. And for some of you guys, it's about getting in contact with people, especially family members. If you've been thinking about family members, so thinking with the Seven of Coins possibly about family members with that Ten of Coins energy there, then it's a good time to resurrect, because the Wheel of Fortune is bringing things around again. It's resurrecting, like a Judgment card would do. Resurrect past relationships, you know, reconciling past relationships, coming together again in past relationships. Obviously, can't do it face to face, so why not pick up the phone, as I mentioned, or why not message someone, you know? We then got the Four of Cups. So this week, the Four of Cups energy and the Six of Coins energy showing here. I feel that you've got to kind of... the Six of Coins is all about giving and generosity. There's a lot of people here asking for stuff. You can see here that this woman is spreading herself out quite thinly. And then you've got the Four of Cups energy here. So I just feel that you should... With the Four of Cups being the card that tells us that somebody is refraining from doing something here, perhaps this is a week for really focusing on the self as well. I mean, I think that it's two parts for Libra. I think one part this week, the universe is saying, for those of you who haven't seen family members in a long time, pick up the phone. Pick up the phone and talk to them. It's time to resurrect, you know, people from the past. Get in contact. You know, get in contact, or, you know, pick up a hobby that you haven't done in the past. It could pay dividends maybe in the future. Maybe this is the right time to go and do something. But also we have this Four of Cups here. And the Four of Cups is a card about rejection. And some of you guys, it may be also, though, that you've got to be a bit hard-ass this week as well, if that makes any sense. Because let's have a look at the cards. You've got the woman here and she's being offered a cup, but she's ignoring that. And she's kind of saying no. She's kind of rejecting the offer, you know. It's there, but she's rejecting it, okay? But here we've got somebody who is giving something here. Let's have a look at the next one. Now, the Empress. The Empress is nurturing, and the Empress tends to give to everyone because she's a mom. So she tends to do everything for everyone. You know, so the Empress tends to give everything. She tends to share her wealth. Okay, but this may be a week for some of you guys as well. So I think some of you, it's time to kind of get in contact with family members you haven't spoken to in a while, and it's time to start picking up on hobbies and things that you haven't done, things that meant a great deal to you, but you just haven't done them in a while because it could literally pay dividends. And for some of you, I think it's time to spend some time on your own as well. I mean, obviously we're in lockdown anyway, but it's time to kind of, some of you have a lot of responsibilities to others. So the Six of Coins is all about responsibility as well. You can see all those hands there saying, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. And the Empress will do that. That's what the Empress's role is. It's to nurture, it's to help, it's to support, it's to give. But for some of you guys, it may be a week for really kind of focusing on your own mental health, on your own spiritual health as well. It's not just about giving to everyone and everything, especially for you guys who are now having to work from home, Libra, as well. So if you find that you're having to work from home and you've got children and everybody's kind of demanding this, that and the other, make sure, I mean, obviously this still has to be done, especially if you've got young children that need, you know, their meals, who need to be entertained to a certain extent, that type of thing, fine. Of course, you still need to engage in that, all right? But I feel that the other way to look at this as well is that whilst this is your role for some of you guys, there also needs to be a time this week where you need to kind of take some time for yourself and do a bit of self-love, a bit of self-pampering. We can see here that this person is saying, you know, I'm just going to have some time on my own, okay? I'm going to sit, you know, in the sunshine. If it's warm this week, sit in the sunshine, in your garden, obviously, or in a quiet spot, you know, on your own. It's time, because this woman here is sharing with everybody, but here this woman here has time on her own for herself. So it's time, it's really vital for some of you guys this week as well, if you have families, and if you're finding that, because obviously people usually go to work, so you usually have that break away from the kids and, you know, the mundanity sometimes of family life and having to kind of be responsible for everything and everyone. We have that necessary break, those of you who go to work. But now everybody's on lockdown and having to work from home, the majority of people, it becomes almost much more demanding in the home. You know, the role of mother, the role of nurturer, you know, the role of caregiver becomes more demanding with that Six of Coins. And I think if that's the case for some of you guys there as well, it's time to kind of take a little bit of time and rest and respite for yourself. Even if you're a nurse or you're working within the NHS or within any of the medical facilities across the world, which this could definitely be you, people who are reaching out for help, and there you are giving a lot of care. If you can, and I'm not saying, I'm not being kind of naive to this, because I know that people are working around the clock to help others, and, you know, as I always say, I choke up a lot about that. I do find myself literally coming to tears just to think about what the people on the front line are doing for the world, just helping. It's just such a selfless act, and it's, you know, putting themselves at risk every single day. I don't have any words for it. I'm just astounded and so humbled by the whole thing. And if you can, please just take some time for yourself. Just take some time for yourself, okay? I feel that also when I look at these three cards as well, make sure that your interaction is down to a minimum as well, because she tends to like to get close to people and this person is not taking the cup. So also make sure that you're following guidelines. Carry on remembering that guidelines, social distancing, that type of thing needs to be followed. What are the last two cards? The Seven of Cups. So, you know, Seven of Cups is a card about making decisions, but it can also be about confusion and looking at your options. It's also a card about the cloud, so looking at the internet, that type of thing. The Strength energy showing here. I think that you need to look at ways that you can overcome, you know, because the Strength card is all about overcoming obstacles. So let's have a look. We're going to clarify and see what those obstacles are with the Strength card and how you can overcome them. So the Seven of Cups is also a card that would say you need to look at ways. Look at ways that you can overcome the Strength card, because the Strength card is a card about, you know, this lion is probably it's an antagonistic beast, but she's got the strength to overcome this, you know, because both of them really are strength. The lion is strong and she's strong. So you need to look at ways that you can overcome. What is it that you're overcoming here? What is it that Libra needs to look at ways that what is it that they need to overcome this week in 1 to 2 cards? Okay. Page of Cups. So probably something to do with children. Yeah, 2 pages, the children. So overcome the, you know, and it feeds into this, doesn't it? Where I was talking about being a caregiver and the idea about having the children around, because as I said, a lot of people are working from home now, and the children are off school as well. All the schools, everything's being shut down. Only the necessary places like certain food shops or you know, places to go and get medicine and things like that. But other than that, a lot of places have actually been shut down. So you've got these kids 2 pages of the children. So how do you need to look at ways that you can overcome, and this is kind of like the tug of war, because this is a tug of war card that you have with the children here. So you need to look at ways that you can overcome the tug of war that you've got with the children. And also you need to look at ways in which you can try and tame and keep the children under control as well, because the strength card is about keeping a beast, somebody who's quite, and children are children, they're not adults, you know. Children are, you know, they don't have the same kind of intelligence, obviously, that an adult would have. So if a child wants something, it wants it, especially if you've got 3, 4, 5-year-olds. They've got no semblance of kind of order, you know, because children just want what they want. We've all been there. We've all been kids. So you need to look at ways maybe of how you can tame, because the strength card is all about taming. So how you can tame the kids, you know, which feeds into this, that some of you guys are caregivers, your mothers, your fathers, the Empress energy, and you're taking care of, got a lot of responsibility. You see all those hands there, those are probably the hands of the children. Gimme, 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 gimme. Because children want what they want, regardless of what's going on. They want what they want. And even if you work from home sometimes, you know, even if you work from home at the moment, you know, it's a case of that they're still going to want what they want. There's going to be boredom, having to also navigate things like home tutelage, especially for children around the age, I guess, of 10, 11, 12, who are still needing to be tutored from home. You know, trying to kind of figure out, you know, well, how are we going to teach them? How are we going to, you know, do we do like an online thing? Or, you know, I think it would have been a good idea maybe to get, you know, some form of online thing done where, between the schools and the children, where everybody maybe could have come together on an online platform. I don't know whether that would have been possible, but I think that might have been something quite good. So that they were learning from their homes, in the safety of their homes, but it was still a classroom thing. It was a shame. It would have been something like that would have been excellent. But here we see, Libra, you've got so many responsibilities. So many responsibilities. So you need to look at ways that you can kind of tame the kids as well, if you've got children here. But also, this is a week for finding time, you know, on your own as well. Because you can suffer from overburn. You like burn out, I think. Because you've got, it just looks, this looks very chaotic, this line here does. It looks very, very chaotic. It looks like you just, you know, you're the caregiver, you're giving to so many people, not even just the kids. You know, some of you guys may have elderly parents that you're having to drop food around for, you know, things like that. You know, when you go shopping, going shopping for the kids, for your mum, for your dad, whatever it is, aunts, uncles. You know, it's a whole big operation. So you need to look at ways maybe that you can tame, especially the children. How can you kind of restore some order to the home? All right, but the other thing is definitely take care of yourself, because this 4 of Cups is all about self-care. Okay, it's all about self-care. And actually, we don't even know whether she's refusing that cup. She's being handed a cup of tea, but she's probably had, if you look here, she's had several glasses. So this cup, that this person's probably walking in saying, there you go, there's your cup of tea. We don't see what happens afterwards. He or she's probably put the cup down there. All right, because it's a time to kind of meditate for some of you guys as well. You need to get some, it really is important, because I think a lot of people could be driven mad by this whole kind of isolation thing. So it's, you know, kind of, but not just the isolation thing, having more responsibility during it in these cards here. So it's a really important time, I think the universe is saying, for self-love and self-care for yourself. All right, because you're going to, some of you guys have got so many responsibilities to your parents, your aunts, your uncles, as well as those children there. And it's a time this week for also considering yourself, all right? Because some of you guys are putting everybody first, because you're caring, you're loving, you're a mum, you're a dad. You're putting everybody first but yourself. And it's time this week just to take a little bit of a corner of time just to really kind of practice self-love and self-worth for yourself as well here. Okay, finally, again, make sure that, you know, some of you guys need to really recontact people that you haven't in a long time, people that were served a really strong purpose within your life with that Wheel of Fortune, 6 of Cups and 3 of Cups there. Family members especially. The other thing is, some of you guys, if you've had a hobby in the past and you haven't picked it up and it was really something quite purposeful, I guess like writing a book or art or something like that, now would be a good time to pick those things back up again, because they served a purpose. And the only reason that you haven't done them in a while is because now was probably the time to start doing them again. Especially if you've got more time to do them, because I think that they could literally pay dividends with those money cards there. Excuse me. Let's have a look at the spiritual advice. What's the spiritual advice you have for What's the spiritual advice that you have for Libra, please, in 2 cards? Right, we've got Judgment, which is called the Blossom card here, and the New Vitality card. Well, Judgment is all about change and transformation, and we're transforming, and this is the Ace of Wands. So Judgment and the Ace of Wands, we're ending a cycle here. We're transforming into something new. So I think the advice is that this period that we're going through right now, the changes in the world are transforming us into something new. You know, we're transforming into something fresh and something new. All right. And this is what I was trying to go back to in terms of, you know, when we look at things that are happening in our world today and we're saying, oh my God, you know, for some people, we're losing our jobs. For some people, we're shutting down our business. How are we going to survive? How is this going to work? When this is all over, what will the world look like? Excuse me. And I think the universe is just trying to say, well, don't worry too much about it, because it's almost like we've had this tsunami of fear and illness and all the rest of it. But it's almost like a tower moment. These 2 cards to me remind me of a tower moment where we have that breakdown of everything that we've known before, because the earth is actually being replenished into something new. And possibly after this, it's going to be something new and something better. So this transformation that we're seeing with the Blossom card, i.e. this is really the Judgment card, is really just saying that what is happening now is making way for something new and fresh to occur within our world. It's almost like it's the massive cleanup that's happening at the moment, guys. Okay? So I just feel that when I get these messages from the universe, for the signs, that what really the universe is saying is that right now everything looks like doom and gloom, and it looks very bleak. Of course it does for all of us, and we're all afraid. Every single one of us is really scared about this thing. But at the end of the day, just know that where there is darkness, there has to be an equalizer, and the equalizer of the darkness is light. So what will come through as a result of this is light, whereby the transformation that this huge tower moment in our lives is bringing in with the Blossom card, i.e. Judgment, is the new world of the new vitality. It's going to be a new way of doing things. It's going to be a fresh way of doing things, because we needed, at some point, something like this, I think, was always going to happen, because for some reason, maybe the universe felt that we needed a huge kind of clear out and clear up for some reason or other, which tends to happen once every God knows how many years, you know. So we've just got to see this as a chance to replenish ourselves, you know, change our habits as well. For example, for me, you know, it's about, I mean, I've always tried to eat healthy, but it's about eating more healthy, you know. It's about doing a little bit of exercise, you know, more exercise. It's about taking time to love myself a little bit more by, you know, doing more creative stuff that I've not really indulged in the past. It's a way for all of us to start recharging our batteries and doing something new going forward. This is the great kind of equalizer in terms of, you know, excuse me, in terms of things changing in our lives, in other people's lives, but in the world in general. All right, that is your reading for the week, guys. I'd like to say thanks ever so much for joining me on Carol's Universe, and have a really great week. God bless and stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.